everybody. Welcome back to the Your Two Valuable podcast. I'm one of your hosts here, Gregory. It's great to be back. We had a lot of planning that went into this, and it's been quite interesting the last time we were on. And so I wanted to say hello and welcome back. And we actually have one other person with us. You might see something a little different if you're here, but for those who can't see, we have one other person. Who is that there?
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's Jesse.
Hey, it's Jesse.
Or maybe
So
this
if you
season we'll
can't
pick up
see,
JP again because my friends like to call me JP.
oh,
Ooh.
JP. Okay, well then let's do the JP thing.
Yeah,
All right, so
we can roll
JP,
with
what's
that.
the deal? I only see you and I here, and for those who are listening, it's only you and I that are talking. Our poor friend or other co-host Robbie is not here. It's
Where
really sad. I kind of miss
is
him already.
Robbie? I don't know. Was he supposed to join today?
Yeah, so if you haven't noticed, Robbie is not here, and that's
We laid
because
him off.
wow. No, actually he quit. And we asked him to return to office and he decided to say no, I'm not coming in. So it worked. No, I'm just joking. If you noticed in
It
our kind of our
worked.
teaser videos in our teaser videos, he
That's what
was
HR does. Welcome back to the White
oh
Castle. It
my
worked.
no.
Y'all just heard that, right?
No,
See how HR
no.
does shit like that? Huh?
Already in language, we're barely
Wow.
into like the first like couple of minutes into the first episode and we have language already. Anyway, so we're gonna miss Robbie. He is still healing from some medical conditions that he had. He was in the hospital. I don't know if you guys noticed or y'all noticed whenever we were doing those teasers that he kind of looked a little funny. Well, I meant he looks funny anyways, but he was in the hospital
Wow.
and he's
He's
still
still
there. He's been there
there.
for way too long. Yeah, still there and he's been there for way too long and we need him to get better so that way he can come out and be on this podcast and that way it's just as fun. Um what do you think, Jesse, JP?
Yeah. No, I'm definitely gonna miss Robbie being in here. He brings such a great perspective to our podcast and the banter and the cussing and just all of that
No cussing.
encompassing. Definitely
No
gonna miss
cussing.
him for the first couple episodes, but we are praying for him that
I'm
he can get
crying.
through the medical issues he's having and be recovered and get the hell out of that hospital and get some sunlight on that skin, because if you thought he was pale before, oh boy,
Ooh,
it's
he's
real bad
pale.
right now. It's
It's
real
kind of
bad right
scary.
now.
So,
um,
well, let's get started so that way we actually can get into what we're here for and actually doing our podcast. We definitely want to wish him well and get him back on tier. So today is season 2, episode 1. Yes, I'm super excited.
Yay, season
We are actually going to
2.
talk about returning to the office and those mandates that are required about those and everything that happened when we were on COVID and everybody got to work from home and now all the companies are
Yeah,
like, "Oh, let's not do that anymore. Let's have you come back." And so that's a little bit
yeah,
interesting.
we're just seeing it more and more. More companies are now put down the hammer even harder than before, asking more employees to return back to work, and a lot of companies are going back to that that culture. So, returning from our break, returning back to work, we thought that was pretty cheesy. So you know how we operate around here. So
It's not cheesy. It is about collaboration and making sure that our culture is the same and that we are able to be more productive when we're sitting together and that way we can meet together and have those conversations, right?
right,
Shake
exactly.
your head yes. I'm shaking my head
Completely
yes.
right. Completely
Thank
right.
you. See?
We know how you
Thank
love
you.
to put in SOPs into place. So
No. It's not. No. It's real. It's real. And so, a lot of people tend to think that a return to office mandate is almost like a soft layoff, and that it is. wanting to get people to quit. I mean, I'll give you my 2 cents, and again, these are my comments. I'm not speaking on behalf of anybody, and so my comment is that yes, it kind of can come across as a soft layoff, and that companies know that people are not going to come back into the office. I mean, JP, would you want to come back into the office if you were out for 2, 3, 4, 5 years during COVID and knew that you could actually do your job remotely?
No, I mean every once in a while, to have a in person gathering, or it'd be great if they took some of that extra profit they were making from shutting down all our offices and and had us gather together on a little retreat or something like that, and putting more money towards that and building our in-person culture that way, rather than just forcing people to come back into office. Yeah, that would be great. But just I have a family member that works for a very large motor company, and same thing, she's been working from home, or um, being able to support her family a lot better, and the family environment has been a lot more positive, and they've been navigating through a lot of things. And now it's, oh, we need you back in the office at least 2 days a week, maybe three, and her line of work, it really doesn't require that.
Well, okay, we're going to get into that later because I really have a lot of opinions on that when it comes to,
Oh boy.
maybe doing this as a hybrid, not necessarily full office, full 5 days a week. But let's get into that later. This is more like, you know, do you think that it actually has to do with companies saying, "Oh, I know 10% of my workforce is not going to come back into the office. And so therefore they're going to quit. And if I need to do a reduction in force or a rift or a layoff, instead of doing that so that way we have to pay severances, let's just say come back into the office." And we know that amount of people are
Mm-hmm.
not going to come back. I mean, isn't
Mm-hmm.
that easy?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a tactic that could be used, and there's definitely ways that they're going to know that, especially from data now that can be accessed from larger companies already doing that, since we are post COVID several years now. There's actual data around that can be used in companies, and once you get big data and stuff like that, it can get scary to how the numbers start to flow on a P&L, because let's be honest, that's at the end of the day, it's the numbers that move companies, and it's the
Well, yeah,
numbers
of course.
and the P&Ls that the big wigs are looking at, and small changes that feel big to us, just with a couple people just laying themselves off, basically because they're refusing to come back into the office, and
Hmm.
have chosen to move on to a different company, and then that position never gets filled again. There's a lot of positions out there online. I know frustration with myself right now, trying to cultivate my career and look at some different avenues. There's lots of ghost ads, job postings, actually,
Yeah, we
out
definitely
there
talked
that
about
are
that
just
last
sitting
season.
there,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and those are even increasing, even in larger forms now. Just job ads sitting out there that will never ever result in an actual person
And a
being
body.
hired
Yeah.
to that position.
And having these individuals that are returning to the office in order to make sure that they're there to fill that actual physical seat in there and having that collaboration and things like that. What about for individuals who may not live in that city, because they either moved or they were
Right.
never there or near like the corporate offices, and
Right.
now they have to return to office, and
Yep.
they're basically being told you have to relocate. And I mean,
Yep.
you understand that. I mean, I know, don't live that close to a really large city, and if you needed to, you could not commute to one of the larger cities.
Right. Yeah, that was I was thinking about that too, or even with corporations that have relocated their headquarters. We've seen a lot of that
Mm,
in
I
corporations
didn't even think
as
about that.
well.
Yeah, that's true.
A lot due to costs, but a lot due to local laws and things that have changed in the political environment as well. And then what that gets into, and where I have an issue with, is we start making exceptions for one employee but not another, and you have a whole different scope of how that's dealt with in multiple segments of your corporation, and you have one manager that's dealing with it a certain way, and you're having all these
Mm-hmm.
off side conversations, and a manager is directing an employee in a certain way, whereas another one is, and that's just causing even more issues.
Yeah, and I agree with that. It's just uh, it's it's kind of an interesting aspect to kind of think of that. And when you relocate from one city to another, I think there was a really big telecom or telecommunication company that relocated their headquarters from one major city to Dallas in 2015, and so that was big. It was huge, and so what can you do? Are you going to pay your people to relocate closer to where your headquarters are and where they're now
Right.
required? No, you're going to just have them required, and there's no relocation bonuses. There's no relocation amount that they're going to
Well,
allow
unless
to
unless
go
you're in
there.
the right position and have the right connections, of course we'll take care of you
What do
because
you mean by that,
we
Jesse?
value
No, no,
you so
no.
much.
They do.
But this
They
other
do.
person, yeah, we're not going to offer them the same stuff. Why would we
No,
offer the
we
same exact things to every employee?
they
That just
do
would be
offer the same
crazy.
exact things to every employee. We know that.
Oh, sure, okay, because you're in every
Uh,
conversation.
yeah, we
I
do.
love that
And
you think that you're in the know about everything because you're HR, and I love that you think that you know everything that goes on. People talk so much shit behind your back. It's
That's awful. And they probably do. And I don't know. That's a little hurtful. But oh well, I'm gonna get over it. So if we're talking about going back to the office, and we're saying that if we're not really wanting it to be about laying off, but we really want more of that collaboration piece of it. Do you think it happens where it's easier to collaborate with each other when
what
you're next to each other? If would it be
that's
easier for you and I to have a conversation if you were sitting right here next to me?
well, I mean, you can't collaborate if you're not in the office. I mean, that's a requirement of collaboration, is to be in the office?
But it's easier to collaborate when you're together.
It's easier. Do you
Yeah.
really
Why
think?
is it not easier? I don't.
Do you really think that,
Well, yeah,
or
I
you're
don't
just
have
saying
to.
that?
No, no, I actually do think that you don't have to get up. I mean, you don't have to call somebody and, ask for a Teams meeting or a Zoom meeting or a Google Chat meeting. You get up
Hmm.
and I'm going to go talk to you at your desk and see you where you're at and why that's great. It makes it easier.
Doesn't that take more time to get up from your desk
No, it's
than
going to
to
be
click a
quicker.
button and you're automatically connected right with that person?
No, it's gonna be quicker, and you may even be sitting right next to me. And how am I really? Hey, JP, let's chat about this. And instead of hold on, let me go see if you're available, and if you know if you're gonna
Um,
answer this Zoom call or this Teams
um,
chat.
I'm
No,
sure people love when you interrupt their workday.
I don't interrupt anybody's workday.
I could just imagine how you be
I
walking
would never
around
do that. I would
in the in-person
never.
office, just peeping into people's cubicles and said, "Hey, how you do? You want to talk about this?" And they're like, "No, get away from me. You should have checked my calendar."
Surprise!
No, here comes
I would
fucking
never do that. I'd
HR.
be like,
Let's
knock, knock,
run.
knock.
Close everything down.
Oh no. Well, I mean that I can see where that could be annoying. Not me. Where that could be annoying. Some people could be annoyed by that. Definitely not me. Everybody enjoys seeing me when I come to their cubicle or to their office. And
No.
all I know is I'm glad Robbie is not here for that because I know he would be saying something about that, and that's kind of scary because I can hear
Um,
him in the back of my voice. See, he
no,
could
you
be
need to be
remote right
glad that
now.
our other guest isn't here to set
No,
your
we
ass
don't.
straight. That's
No,
okay.
we're
She'll be back soon.
no, we're not going to
I'm
talk
looking
about
forward.
that
I'm looking
individual.
forward to that
No,
episode.
Lauren.
That's
I
for
mean,
sure.
no
Can't
individual
wait
or
to
that
see her
person
again.
is.
Oh,
No, not no, no. No, she's not coming back. You're going to come back, right? And if you can see me, I'm shaking
anyways,
my head. No, you're not coming back. But anyways,
anyways.
let's get back on. But yes, I think that
But
it's
is an
actually
office really better for collaboration? What's the difference between an in-office and a Teams meeting?
we just
I
had
mean,
that conversation. It was so easy.
no,
You can get up and go and talk to them,
no. But
and then hey, and
that
then
does not
also
explain in-office versus a Teams meeting. That
you're in person. You can get up and go
collaborating,
talk to them right away. That's what I was just talking about.
I know, but no. Like,
See, you turned
again,
off
it
whenever
causes
I was trying to talk to
issues.
you.
It causes issues. You're interrupting them. You're interrupting the workday. It's not a scheduled thing.
No,
So how is collaborating even better for
then
productivity? Let's start there.
then you also can see people's their microaggressions, their body language. You can see how their demeanor is. And the other thing is that people don't keep their video on, and they don't have video on. That's one of my
Hmm.
biggest pet peeves. If we're remote, have your video on,
Well,
please. And I know you can
that would
probably
just
tell
be a
how
request before
why does it need to be a
the
request?
meeting.
It should be mandatory, especially if you're
Well,
remote.
if you set that precedence before the meeting, then sure, and people have an understanding of that, but
But what? It should not. It should be, if it's a policy of the company, I think it should be. However, I think it should be, it should show professionalism, and it should show common courtesy that you're actually going to turn on your video so that I can actually see you. I mean, I don't care
I
what the
mean,
heck you're wearing. Like,
again, if it's a planned thing, but if like it's not just a random pop in and stuff like that, and I'm want to take your call, but I'm in the middle of doing something that could be distracting to you, I'm also being respectful by keeping my video off. It's not
so you're saying it's more
it's
like
not
a
just
double-edged sword there,
disrespect. It's not just respect that I have my video off because I don't want you to see me. It could be I'm doing something very distracting, and it's your fault for not putting it on my calendar in the first place and me being prepared for it.
Well, I mean, okay, I might say that I can be a little bit understanding that if I just randomly call you because I have a question that you don't have your camera on, hopefully you will come on eventually. But I know we have different lives and stuff when we're at home and different work environments, and that's something that I actually want to talk about here in a little bit. It is about the environments that we work in when we're
And
at
the other
home.
part of it,
But
though,
it's
too,
just
is who's the person that's bothered by the camera being off? You.
I am.
So
I am for sure.
you're the one that needs to reflect on why is that bothering you? Why is that taking away from your conversation that you're having with that person, instead of just getting the conversation done and whatever you need to. No, but
So to
in
me,
all honesty, yes, being in person, yes, it's completely different than over camera and Zoom meetings and teams meetings, stuff like that. I definitely agree. There's a complete difference being in a room together with each other. But when it comes strictly down to collaboration, I think both can be effective places. Um, and brainstorming sessions and stuff like that. Yeah, that's going to be hard when you want to try and use these virtual whiteboards that are just absolutely awful. I mean, the technology has
oh,
improved
virtual
from when they just,
whiteboards.
the world shut down and they launched this online and tried to create these scenes to make it feel like we were still in person.
I
But yeah, I
love
mean,
virtual whiteboards.
when we're having really big brainstorming sessions or really wanting to change some different dynamics and stuff, yeah, it's hard. It's hard to only have squares in front of you and seeing only the top half of people and not being
Yeah.
able to get their full emotions, their full reactions, and being also able as a leader to see that in someone and say, hey, looks like you might have something that you want to say about that. I might not be able to pick that up on video, and I would be able to more in
Hmm.
person. So I definitely, the in-person collaborations can be beneficial.
Yeah, and it is about being there in the conversation, being present, demonstrating that you're actually present in the conversation and that you're involved, you're attentive. And that's something that's very important for those. Now, is that considered more control than it is collaboration?
Sure.
What do you mean by
Right.
sure? It's not, it's control? I mean, you think it's controlling because I want you to be respectful of me to have your camera on?
No, I think that's just a expectation. But again, if it's not able if my camera is not able to be turned on for some reason, it shouldn't be taken as a sign of disrespect, and
Okay, if there's a
that
reason, then
person shouldn't
yes.
have an issue with it, and just go about their conversation instead of having it completely stuck in the back of their mind that, oh, this person has their camera off. I wonder if they're jacking off or whatever.
Oh my
Like, come
gosh, you
on,
can't say that
you
on a
know.
podcast. Ah.
What that's exactly what people think. Oh, they must be doing something disgusting or not dressed
Well,
right or didn't shower for the day, and oh, I
I
got to get
am
down to the
very
bottom of this and figure out what this person is doing, like good
I'm a little
lord.
flustered with that one. I don't know if I can handle that comment, Jesse. So, anyways, we're gonna
Whatever.
move on to the next topic because I
Whatever.
can't do that.
But
If
I
you
mean,
can't see
what I did want
video,
to ask about was, do you
uh,
really? What about productivity though? Because
oh,
we didn't really talk about productivity much. Like
no,
that's the
I
biggest
understand what
debate I
you're
think
talking
that's
about
out there.
productivity because of the fact of people say, and I think there's actually been like um research and stuff done about it where you're more productive at home than you are in an office. I don't know. I'm 50-50 on that. I think there are
It's
times where I am a lot more productive at home and I can just be heads down and get my work done and there's not anybody here to bother me. I mean, but some people have kids. Some people have roommates. Some people have animals. And that's the other thing is it really about the general 9 to 5, 8 to 4 work schedule, or is it more flexible? And that goes back to that control piece we were just talking about. You know,
right.
if I want to work for 2 hours straight and then take a break to go do some laundry or take a shower, like you were talking about not taking a shower, or take care of some personal things, I can do that.
Right.
But we're used to that whole 8 to 5, 9 or 8 to 4, 9 to 5 kind of mentality. And
Right.
so again, that's to the control of, hey, we should be available in that seat nonstop for 8 hours.
Right. I just did a little Google search, and the AI overview
Oh boy, more
it does
AI.
say yes. Current research presents mixed findings on whether
Hmm.
remote work is more productive than in-person work, with many studies indicating that remote work can boost productivity by 13% or sometimes 35 to 40% due to fewer distractions at home and no commutes. However, other recent studies suggest that fully remote work may result in a 10 to 20% drop in productivity, and they
Ah.
are actually favoring hybrid models as the most effective balance. And I
Now,
like
see,
that.
I actually really, really like that. I am a hybrid model type of person.
We
I don't
know
want to
you
work at
love
home
your
all day
current
long, every day.
hybrid model, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't want to go into the office 5 days a week. Do I? If
Yeah.
I needed to, absolutely, 100%. That's part of my job that I would do. I love hybrid models. Lots of my last positions have been hybrid models. One went from a full time to a hybrid model. I was very thankful for that. And it allows me to come home, know that I can actually sleep in a little bit more, and enjoy my time at home, get up, go grab me something to eat out of my own kitchen, put on a load of laundry, have my vacuum cleaner running while I'm here, and know that I can do it. But I'm still going to be productive. I'm still going to do what I need to do.
Sounds like a lot of distractions. I think we need to get you back in the office a lot more.
Oh my word! No, but
Why
see,
are
that's
you
the thing
doing your
is that
laundry, running your vacuum cleaner,
that
and
goes that goes back to the whole is it really an 8 to 4, 9 to 5 shift? No, I mean I
right,
especially for HR, I can't work just those hours. I have to work a lot of random hours here and there because things are happening during times that people are not at work or somebody has a question or whatever, and so that just doesn't happen. And how that can happen for most people, I don't know. Is it necessary for some jobs? Absolutely, it's required. But
right,
I want to go back to what you were talking about like that commute and stuff like that, about
right,
commuting back and forth, having that 5 years where you were just nonstop work from home because nobody worked from an office. Nobody, we really didn't do anything with anybody for that long time. Um, how was that like financial wise?
right.
And I'm
Yeah,
talking about gas, your vehicle, clothes,
mm-hmm.
lunches,
Yep.
coffee. I love a particular coffee brand. I generally have this coffee brand every day, and I have it in my
Is that the one
house.
that a lot of people are boycotting right now?
I am not going to say their name, but I spend a lot of bucks there, and I spend a lot of bucks for the stuff at home, and so did that save me some money whenever I was working or when I work from home? Absolutely. It's less expensive to make it at home than it is to go and purchase one every day. And
Mm-hmm.
then childcare for those who have
Mm-hmm.
children. Uh,
Yep.
I don't have children, so I'm not I can't say that, you know,
Right.
based on
I've heard
personal
the
experience.
cost
I
is
can,
astronomical, and it's
yeah, I've
increasing.
heard that it's like outrageous, and it's like thousands of dollars a month, if not a week. And then if you
Yep.
have more than one child, forget about it. And then I had a job where I had to pay for parking downtown. And so all of those little things add up as you're going to and from work. And what about your time? I just said just a second ago, I loved being in hybrid work because on my hybrid days, I know I can sleep in a little bit later. I don't have to
Hmm.
wake up an hour and a half. Yes, I know it takes me a long time to get ready. Um, I
Or for
have to
some
wake up
people,
and
they're still getting up at the same time and they're doing other things to be productive on
that's true.
not for work but around the house and things like that. They're saving being a lot more productive at home, having a better home environment because they're not having that commute time as well.
And what about the stress
Yep.
of traffic?
Oh, I loved driving out on
I
the
mean, I
interstate. I mean,
I love
I
traffic.
definitely broke some speed laws when
Oh
when
no, I'm not
COVID
talking
was
about
shut down. There
speeding.
wasn't anybody on the interstate. That was great.
No, no, no. Do not speed. Do not break laws when you're driving. For me, I loved traffic because it gives me time to just kind of decompress, especially on my way home. Now, is it annoying sometimes? Absolutely, because I'm running late to be back home. I do like it sometimes because it does allow me to just kind of like decompress.
Running late to get back
And I am one of those individuals that some people are going to call me a little crazy
a
psychopath if you
little,
want to. Um,
a
I
little.
ride in absolute silence in my car. And I know that that's weird. Some people would say that it's great. Some people say that it's weird. I can't drive with music blaring all the time in my car.
I don't.
Not going to
I don't.
happen.
I don't think it's weird at all. I think a lot of people
Yeah.
actually are doing that a lot more now too, because we have all this media that's constantly coming at us. I do that self. Find myself doing that just out of pure enjoyment because my brain just needs a break, especially
Right.
after work.
Exactly. And then the con of cons to it is the stress level of being at home. I'm mostly a homebody. I will agree with that. I love being at home. I love just chilling out. You know, that's what I do a lot. However, I do want to get out, and so if I'm on a completely remote job, I may not be leaving my house very often. I can't do that. That's
Yep.
one of the
Yep.
reasons why I like my hybrid schedule is because it allows me to get out of my house. It gives my roommate, my nephew, some alone time so where he gets rid of me, and I know he loves that. And if I'm home a lot, or I was working fully remote for a little bit, and it's annoying. It's annoying to him. It's annoying to me, and it's annoying to anybody who's around because it's like, get out, go somewhere.
Hmm. Yep. And I mean, there's plenty of studies around itself around isolation and how that's not good for us either.
Exactly.
As human beings, we are very social people.
Hmm.
As much as we might fight against it, being social and being around other people is really where our souls can thrive a lot too. Um, my only thing though, what about the additional costs that could come though with working remote? And should workplaces, um, have I know some have been doing some incentives for helping with increased costs. I mean, if you're at home more, I would know your utilities are going to be going up, especially cooling and heating. You know,
That's
I
true. Well,
that's
some people are required to have a certain internet speed for their company
that
because,
too.
if you're, possibly doing coding or you are doing certain things that require high bandwidth, recording a podcast, it requires extra internet because you're streaming and you're doing, video chats. You can't have like a choppy internet.
Hmm.
Having the extra monitors, your own keyboard, mouse, but yeah, your utilities too. Absolutely, your utilities are going to go up. One, my computer's charging all day long. Two, my monitor is now
Hmm.
on all day long.
Hmm.
Um, I'm very particular, and I know JP and And I'm so glad Robbie's not here to kind of pick fun of me, poke fun of me about this, but I like my comfortable environment. And so thus
AKA
I'm a
he
little
doesn't
bougie.
like public restrooms.
I'm a little bougie. And so I want it comfortable. So thus it's going to be warm. I have a little heater down below my desk so that way if I get too cold, I just turn on my little heater. Yes, my little heater has a little remote. So that way I don't have to bend over to do it. I just click and then my heater goes on. It oscillates so that way it works.
And
And
because you're in menopause, you have a little fan next to your
oh my gosh,
computer
there's a
as
little
well, so
fan in
that
there
if you get
too.
too
Yes,
hot, you get to
oh my
turn that
gosh.
sucker on too.
Justin, you cannot talk about things like that. That is HR inappropriate. And then I have my baby. My baby, she is a cat, and her name is Gracie. I bought her a little bed that attaches to my desk, so that way she can sleep next to me while I'm here. She is very spoiled, just like me, and we did add a new addition to our house, which was Tails. It's our new kitten, and she is currently laying in that bed right now. And so, yeah, I mean,
Did
it's
you
so there's
did you put
additional
that on your
cost.
did you put that on your expense report?
No, I'm not going to expense that. I mean, it's my comfort too. So it just it has that, but
Yeah.
it's not about my other cost. What about what the company are getting charged for? Didn't they rent out this huge, potentially big office building? They've bought all of this equipment, the computer screens, the monitors, those same things, the keyboard, the mice, you know, the conference room, the chairs, the desks. If you've ever had to move office building and buy all of that, that's expensive. And so is
Well, a lot of
rent.
companies are still paying for their rent because they're
Right.
locked
And
into contracts.
exactly. I mean, your contracts are at minimum 5 years. Most of them are like 10, 15, 20 years for you
Yeah.
to be locked into a lease. And it's expensive for that business to have that. So if they're going to be paying for that, why not utilize it?
Right.
That's another thing is that a lot of these companies who went out for COVID, well, all of us had to go out for COVID for a little bit. That was money down the drain. Couldn't do anything about it. And it's not a loss of business expense that you could get from your business insurances. It just happened. And so you have those leases, you have your investments that are there, your electricity, utilities there to get your internet. So it's expensive for a
Right.
business to have that. So yeah, I mean, I would understand that they want that to be utilized as well. And
Right.
so, you know, I I I tend to think more about others, not just myself. Gets me in trouble sometimes, but it's I want to think about being an even keel for both. That's why I like the whole hybrid schedule thing.
Well, and I think too, a lot of things that came about and that we didn't see would be happening, is also the financial impact in the communities that these office buildings are existing as well. I mean, you talked about the coffee, the lunches, and places that you would stop to going to and coming from work. A lot of businesses went out had went out of business. A lot of stores have closed and relocated, and lots of real estate changes have been uh, affected by these huge office buildings coming back in and going back out, or changing to from hybrid and stuff like that. I think that's the biggest thing that corporations didn't really take into effect is the community that you're in and have a presence in. You have a huge impact on that local community. And so
Well, I never.
I think I think it's really great that the hybrid schedules are coming back, and people's livelihoods are going to be, a lot of people had to do different things themselves and go into different um, jobs and do different things because they weren't getting any foot traffic from huge corporations that had to close down.
That's kind of interesting. I actually really never really thought about that until just now because there were a lot of there were a lot of things that I didn't buy. I didn't spend money on because I wasn't going anywhere.
Right.
That's actually a really good point, Jesse. And for those who own those businesses, because they were out there too. Hopefully we have some business owners who are listening. Is they got hurt a lot too because there were people not going to the office. Huh. Wow. That kind of made me think a little bit there, Jesse. JP, I really appreciate you bringing that up because that's something that I really didn't think about. And it's very, very true because some of the businesses I know, I mean, we've got friends that own the small business, and if they
Right.
didn't have people coming into their business, there's no way they could stay afloat.
Right.
So very
Exactly.
true. I mean, if you're talking about that and you're wanting to bring all of that together, so just I want to kind of like bring it together. Is this more of a company culture thing? Is it more reality? Is it more obsession of wanting that control back again?
Right.
What is that doing to us as a whole, as people? Of we're getting tossed around here. We
Yeah.
knew that it was possible for us to work from home and be productive and allow us to do what we needed to do. I think you said
Yes.
earlier, is it improving culture? Is it not?
Right. Yeah, no, I mean there's lots of factors around it with people that are especially job hopping because of it.
Hmm.
People are tired of control. They've been tired of being controlled, and this return to office requirements. Again, it's I think it's more understandable from a lot of people's viewpoint of going to that hybrid model, but I mean we've seen it in the news. Companies have literally gone from fully remote to fully back in office, and I mean that was just a huge jolt for us when the world shut down for COVID, and you want us to have another completely jolt to our entire lives. It's like where that's why I where my passion and stuff comes from, of a deep understanding of the people that work for you and make your company successful, and you're just going to put out a mandate like that that's completely going to uproot a lot of different people's lives and how they're living them, and already having an example from when the shutdown happened. I mean, uh, how is that respectful in its own place and professional in its own place, coming from higher up? Of, well, we got together and decided y'all got to come back. Like, where's the love and tolerance and care in that? I just
Well,
don't understand
and
that.
yeah, it's the psychological part of it is, and I love the way that you just pointed that out of the big jolt to our systems of we're going about our daily lives and going to work, coming home, going to work. It was not, that's just the way that it was. Then we had the big jolt of no, you've got to stay home, and then now no, you can't stay home. You have to come into the office every day. And that's those are like you just said, they're big psychological jolts to the system of oh my, I now have to change all of this. um You
Well,
know, you
especially
have,
when employees have spoken out and saying, "Hey, we would really love it doing a hybrid schedule," and then them just going completely against it. Like
but
that
is
doesn't
it
make
your
sense.
decision as an employee, or is that
It
the company's
surely is
decision?
because if I decide that I don't no longer want to comply with what the company wants, sayonara, goodbye,
And
your
that's where your
loss.
job hopping idea came from just a minute ago, right?
That's why a lot of people are hopping and have been and will continue. It's not like back in the day when our grandparents had one career that they worked at for 30, 40 years. My
Oh, yeah, that's definitely not the case now.
grandpa worked for the same insurance sales company for almost 50 years. Um,
So it's that
and
going
now
back to
people,
our original, but going back to our original question that we started off with, but this whole topic is about is a return to office a mandate or a soft layoff? And that's where I think all of this together kind of wraps up because it's like, true. Is it a layoff? Are they trying to get people to quit
right,
and job hop
right,
because they can't? I mean, I've got a really good friend who has worked remotely for their company for several years. I would say a good 5 to 10 years. And I think that's hilarious that I say several years or 5 to 10 because, as you were just talking about, our grandparents and parents working 30, 40 years is normal.
but you're
But
saying they worked remotely before COVID.
right, they worked remotely before COVID. They were a
Sure.
temporary worker, and they were allowed to work remote. And then now they just got a return to office mandate. And my friend
Mm.
does not live here. They don't live close to here. They actually moved out of state. They've moved actually a couple of times to multiple different states because their significant other was working a job that they needed to go to, and they moved to different jobs, and so thus they moved. And so my friend does not live anywhere near the corporate office anymore. And now that friend basically had to say, I can't do that. I don't live there. I can't come to the office.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going
And
to relocate me? And that's what we talked about earlier. Are you going to relocate me back there? And no, they can't do that. They can't do that for everyone. So was
they
it,
they've told her no,
they have told them no, no, yeah.
and so they need to relocate her or find another job.
Yes. And this friend ended up finding another job
I mean,
because they couldn't. So is that what they wanted? Did they want some of their individual or some of their employees to quit?
yeah, yeah,
And that's the
and
sad part. I felt really bad for my friend because it was just like, what, they really enjoyed their job. They were really good at it.
yeah,
This person and I worked together for the longest time, for about 2 to 3 years together, and we started together, and they were there for a lot longer after I was. And it's really sad because it's just like she couldn't go back.
yeah. So I mean, through that, companies are forcing people to job hop, and yeah, I mean, and again, it comes down to like if you're mandating across all your employees, and
Hmm.
but then you make an exception for that one person here or there. It sounds like they actually were making it a solid mandate for everybody. So good on them for following that and not kind of making an exception. But
Yeah.
that's hard. Unfortunately, if I die tomorrow, my job is going to be replaced by someone else.
Oh,
So
I've said
our
that so
our
many times in my life. It's so sad, but it's true.
our positions are going to be filled, if we're there or not. And sure, they might maybe um, inactive and things like that, and it may cause a little drift in the operations or something like that. But
Mm-hmm.
um, at the end of the day, um, people are going to move on, and
Yeah,
that's the reality of it.
very
Um,
true.
but it's like, what's behind that full mandate, and why can't companies be more one-on-one with their employees and say, we if you want to keep working here, you have been remote, and actually look at the circumstances um on an individual basis. But I know then that's hard. If you have 1,000 employees, that's hard to sit down and have 1,000 conversations
Right.
about that. And so it definitely differs on the size of the organization and things like that, and the dynamics of the company. But yeah, my main problem, that I have is the companies that just don't don't care about their employees, because they're a number, and
Yeah.
the
And
job
that and
the
that's
job will get done.
that is where I kind of wanted to be in HR, and where I'm there. There's that stipulation that HR people are only there for the company. I know Robbie has said this multiple times. It irks me so much when he says that. It kind of makes my skin crawl, because yes, we're hired by the company. Yes, we're there to mitigate liability and risk for the company, but we're also there to help with our employees, our team members. And so, you know, when it comes to the return to office, I know that I've been in a couple of those conversations where it was, shall we have our employees return to office? Um, do we have them be a hybrid model? Do we give them the option? What happens when we run into those individuals who are like my friend, who no longer live here? And so you do have, and I'm not saying that I have personally experienced this, but you do have those leadership people who are like, I don't care. I need to have them there. At least that's what it feels like. I'm hoping that it doesn't. It wouldn't doubt me that it actually happens. I'm pretty sure some people out there would say that it happens, because that's the way it comes across. And I've been one of those, is don't have policies happen to you, you know, they happen with you. And those are conversations that you can have. Is it something that we can have? Hey, let's have this recommendation. We would love people to be in office 1 to 3 times a week. Come in. Let's make it inviting. Let's do things. Let's have lunch. Let's have, you know, something that is welcoming into an office, not just be cold and boring. And
Mm-hmm.
make it make it almost worth your while to come in. And yeah, they're like, well,
Right.
yeah, but it's your job. You should come in to do your work anyways. Well, okay. Those are kind of my other thoughts, but I want to kind of wrap up a little bit for today. This has been a great conversation. What I want to see from you, JP, or hear from you is, what are what do you think you can do? What are your options as somebody who says, you have a company that says you're coming back to the office and you're due back next week? Is that even
Yeah.
feasible? What
Right.
are your options? What do you think your
Right.
options are?
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the control that organizations get over people, and a lot of people thrive off of that and love having that control. But you know, unfortunately, you either comply or ask for an exception. Um, I think that's really the only options that you do have. But I mean, for me, it's like, where does that kind of fall within like employment law? And situations like that, and the EEOC, like, is that really something that is lawfully able for people to do? I mean, of course, they're going to do whatever they want to, and you have to comply or go find another job or
Right.
whatever. And that's the sad reality of it. Um, but when it really comes down to it, um, you've mandated that you've signed up for this company. There's a mutual contract basically between you and the employer that you're there to follow their policy and standards, and if you do that, the company is going to keep you employed.
Right.
That's
Exactly.
the overlaying agreement that's usually between an employer and an employee.
Yeah.
Um,
And
and so that's the hard part. But go ahead.
for me, my kind of thoughts about this is your options are pretty clear, and there may not be the best options. You either do it, you don't do it, and you do it and return to the office as they need. Uh, Gripe about it, grumble, whatever you want to, but you know you're
Right.
going to leave, job hop as you were talking about at JP, and or as the legal purposes or aspects of it, if you need an accommodation based on a medical reason, what are the medical reasons? There's all kinds of them out there. Medical as in physical, medical as in mental,
Yeah,
and that's
that's a
something
good
that
idea.
they can look into as far as request that accommodation from your job of working remote. Maybe more, maybe not. Is it something that's required because you have to take care of a family member? I know in the state of Colorado, taking care of a family member is an accommodation that you can request. Is it in every state? No. One of the reasons why I love this state is because of how well we try to take care of our team members and our workforce. But
Mhm.
those are the kind of options that you have. Is it fair? Sometimes no. Does it come across the best way? No. I think that's something that people need to understand and kind of voice their opinions in a professional manner that, hey, you're not happy with this.
Right.
In the end is your decision. No, you're still going to do it.
Yep.
Well, I wanted to thank you, JP, for coming on, helping us start off with season two, and the return to office, kind of topic. It's more like returning to the podcast. So
But
I
it's
was
good to
like,
be back. It sure
it is
helps my
so good to be
mental
back.
mental
Yes.
health to be able to talk about some of this stuff and get it
Oh,
out.
I'm looking forward to everything that we're coming. We've got so many topics that we talked about for season two. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to getting Robbie back, uh, and having. I'm really not looking forward to having Lauren back. Oh, that's right. She's not coming back. She's not invited back. I don't know, Lauren. You're definitely welcome back. It was what did you what JP what did you and Robbie kind of nickname this season to?
The Return of the Bright Castle.
Oh, the Return of the White Castle. And I was not going to say it, but I'm going to kind of say it because I thought it was actually kind of funny. JP sent us this little picture emoji, genmoji, whatever you want to call it, into our chat group. It was me inside of a White Castle. It
It
was
was
not funny.
great. It
It
was
was not funny.
great.
Actually, it was
It was
very funny.
great.
And I don't know if
Capped at the
you
top, just looking out over the entire workforce and just thinking you have all the control and say over everybody.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Raining from above, getting all the luxurious HR amenities because you're at the top.
In that view, and it's kind of funny. I actually snipped it, and it is now my picture for my picture on side for my contacts. So I don't know if he even notices that yet.
Oh boy.
Well,
Well, I'm on my way to march forward and set the bitch on fire, so watch out.
whoa, watch out! No, no, let's not do that.
But
Okay,
yes,
let's
we
just continue going
can't
on.
wait for
But
Robbie to get back
yes,
because, yeah, we really need him back here to help.
yes, we do
And I
because
need someone on my side again to help
no,
against this
Jesse's
crazy
boring.
person. Thinks he
JP is
knows
boring.
everything, but he will be
Yes,
back
I
once
do.
he's recovered. Also, don't forget to send us your stories. You know, we really want to have real life examples of things that we obviously share from
Mm-mm.
our perspective. You know, we have lots of great things to share as well, but we'd like to hear some other stories. You know, send those over to stories at your two val. You are the number two VAL.com.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting some of those stories, especially about the return to office, because this is a big topic that it seems like a lot of people are going through these days. And I think that there's going to be some excellent stories out there. Submit them. Let us know if you want to come on and be a guest, so that way you can talk about them. We can definitely do that. And just because we talked about it this one time doesn't mean that we can't talk about it. If you go back and listen to all of season one and you want to talk about something else there, let us know. Stories at your2val.com. We want to hear about it because that is what we're here for. We want to hear from you. And, go and listen to us on all of our podcasts. We have Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You can do it visually on like YouTube and just say hello and let us know that you're out there. We've
Yeah,
gotten
use
some
our other
great feedback.
channels. Send us a message.
Yes, we've gotten some great feedback from some of you listeners out there. We really appreciate that. Some of the things that we're trying to incorporate into season two. And I'm thinking next episode is going to be good. We're going to try to have another guest. Our guest host back, Justin. You saw him last season, and so I have been in contact with him, so that way we can get him back. And we're going to talk about another really great topic. JP, do you know what that topic is?
Does it have something to do with the raise that you've been trying to give me? That you've been needing to give me? Where's my performance review that you said that all
What?
performance reviews were going to be completed by the 20th of this month, and mine hasn't been done?
Well, yes,
I
you
haven't
have
got a
your
raise. I've been
raises.
here for 2 years and haven't had a raise at all. What's going on, HR? Did you
Yes, we're
forget
going to
about
talk about
someone?
raises. And the topic is about that 2 to 3% raise. And is that really a raise or is it a pay cut? We're going to talk about that because it's like, how does that work? And how is that really going to work? But again, thank you for coming back and joining us for season two. I'm really looking forward to what we're going to bring to us, bring out there to all of y'all to understand and listen. Ready to have Robbie back. And I thank you so much for joining us again.
Yes.
And we will see y'all and you will hear us next time.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Have a great week.
Bye.